Alright guys, day 2 of the video diary. So, I have recorded and then deleted several videos so far. It is constantly something today. The dog's barking, and not just like a little like muff in the background, like going ballistic. My battery died, and then when I went to go shoot it again after I got the battery situation fixed, it said I had no storage left. Oh my gosh. So it wouldn't let me record. So by the grace of God, I am here right now for day 2, and I know it's not actually day 2, it's like January 5th today, which is kind of cool because I'm in this group that's going to do a new moon ritual tonight, which is really exciting. Anyways, all of that to say that my mind is fried pretty much right now. I feel like, I don't know, my oldest son and I keep butting heads and arguing, and like I can't seem to get through to him and just get him to chill. And then I don't know, it's like I had all these for a while, like from New Year's Eve until pretty much yesterday, it was nonstop for me, like creative wise. Like my mind was on fire. I had all these cool ideas. I was writing everything down. I was going a mile a minute, and I felt totally unstoppable. And then last night I couldn't sleep, and I stayed up really, really late, like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I finally fall asleep. I wake up at 9 and realize how tired I am, so I went back to sleep. Guys, I didn't get out of the bed until like 12, which is terrible. And, well, I'm judging it. I'm not going to judge it. So I got out of bed late, and then all I could think about was like looking back at everything. I'm like, I was kind of evaluating where I was this morning, and I was like, how many times have I made decisions or, just operated from a place of feeling like that's the way it should be, that's the way I've always done it, that's what's expected of me. Like I've fallen into a rut, basically. I guess I'm going, like, that's a long way around saying that, like, I've fallen into a rut. So today, I really, as jumbled as my mind is, I've really tried to look at, like, challenge, the beliefs that I've had, the why I'm at where I'm at, like what it is, the reasoning why I'm doing what I'm doing. And wow, when you sit down and you truly examine your life, like you take the filters off, you take off the I should be doing this or I have to do this, that have to can be devastating. Like it puts us in these situations that we typically would have never chosen to be in, but because of some kind of obligation that we perceived, or like even just a perceived obligation, we wind up in these situations, and we wind up with a life like laid out that is really not us, that's really not what we would have ever planned for or what we would have ever accepted in the past if we felt like we had a choice. So basically, we feel like we have no choice. And when we feel like we have no choice, we just kind of go along to get along. And I was doing that for a really long time. I was doing that in my marriage. I felt like things had to be a certain way. I didn't really start to examine things until my whole world got flipped upside down. And I was forced to really look at things. And even then, I think for like the first year, and no shame. I felt so bad about this. I didn't want to tell anybody, but I was in such a state of denial that my lifestyle needed to change, that things needed to change, that maybe I wasn't that person anymore. Like maybe I was at one point, but all the decisions that I was making were based on the life that I had before. And a big thing for me right now is I got rid of the chickens that I used to raise. And it's kind of bittersweet. It's one of those things where it's like, you need to let go of something. It's not lining up with where you're at the moment. It's causing you some level of stress. like I was kind of dreading having to handle them every day. And not that they were a big deal. And I love chickens and I love raising chickens. I just got to a point where I was like, I realized that, okay, this is not where my energy needs to be going right now. Like, the best way to explain it is like, I use my hand, right? So, this is like my source of energy, right? And this is just for a visual, but this is like my source of energy. And all of these fingers are where it pours out of. So, I've got all of these different areas. So, I was pouring energy into chickens, my kids, my house, my school, because I'm still a full-time student trying to finish my bachelor's degree, and I still have a year left. And what else? Work, and oh my God, like the million hobbies that I have, friends, relationships, my knitting that I really wanted to do something with, house cleaning, like 100 different directions. And then people also were kind of pressuring me to get into another relationship or to date or something. Like, I'm the weirdo because, I've been single for 3 years and I've kind of committed to myself, which I'm really okay with at this point. So basically, if this is our center of energy and we're expelling energy into all of these things, we're doing it unconsciously at some point. So at some point we made the decision to consciously do it. I consciously got the chickens. I wanted to raise chickens. It was about 5 years ago. I lived in a situation where I had the property, I had the time. I was just being a full-time stay-at-home mom, homeschooling my kids. It fit into the lifestyle that I chose, which was like a small hobby farm. So after my husband left, and I know, like, I'm actually kind of sick of saying that too, but it really was the catalyst. After my husband left, I was still pouring energy into those chickens for the last 3 years. Almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in about 4 months. So I was pouring energy into those, right? And so that was energy that was not going into my kids. It was not going into my school. It was not going into my work. It was not going into fixing my house. So I had to really sit down and, like, I'm such a visual, physical, like, learner that I had to really figure out a way that I could visualize this. And I think sitting down with a whiteboard in my lap and really, like, mapping out, me, like, I'm at the center, right? And then I have all these expectations, and I wrote down everything I felt obligated to do. I felt obligated to keep the chickens because I made the commitment to do the hobby farm 5 years ago. And I felt guilt, and I felt a level of shame, and I felt like if I let them go, I was giving up a dream and I would never be able to have it again. And I still feel that, like, in my gut. Like, I feel like I worked really hard because I did. I put in so much time and energy. I mean, I like designed a chicken coop. I did all of these things. I hatched my own eggs. When they were little tiny chicks, I was like holding them under heat lamps and like taking care of them, and I babied them and I adored them. And then to give them away felt like I was giving away something I worked so hard for. And that's tough for me. Like, whenever I work really hard for something and then, like, I don't see the result in it, or I feel like I had to give it up, like, that for me is really tough. So, but I had to change my perspective, because in the long run, did I want that energy flowing into that? Was that feeding my, like, innermost desires? Was that feeding my soul? Was that path exactly where I needed to be at the moment? And I mean, let's like talk about this on a practical level. Could I practically keep up with them buying the food, the feed? I can't have them totally free range because we have hawks and dogs and foxes and coyotes. And I tried that, and it was a devastating learning curve. so like I had to answer all of these questions, and the practical, like just practical reasons. I would go out there and it'd be freezing during the wintertime. During the summertime, you're sweating to death and you're having to make sure that they have enough water. So it was another thing, just like resting on my shoulders and pulling energy from me. So I thanked them for being in my life. And it makes me emotional. Like, I know they're like, I have friends who are like, they're just chickens. It was a dream that I had to let go of. It was a lifestyle that I had to let go of. It was something I worked for that I had to let go of. And it was very difficult and very painful for me, and taught me a huge, huge lesson. So there's going to be so many things in life that you put energy into that you truly believe in. I mean, deep in your heart, and you're going to have to walk away from things at some point. Like, not everything is going to work out. There's going to be, so many things that you're going to have to end up walking away from. And I think that was huge for me. And today I feel like everything's kind of slowed down, and I've really absorbed it because they've been gone now for 2 weeks, like right at 2 weeks. And oh God, I feel like I've been reevaluating, and so that energy that I was using, I have put into things like this. Like, instead of spending 30 minutes, 40 minutes outside doing that, I took on doing this. So not necessarily that I freed up a lot, because for some reason I can't seem to just free up time, and that'll be something I have to work on. But I made room for the things that I needed to take on that felt like they were right for me, that felt like they were in alignment for me. So, I don't know if this makes any freaking sense, if you guys are with me or not, but that is kind of where I'm at today. And I think that might be the best of everything you can get out of me, because I feel really scattered today. I feel really, I don't know, like kind of heavy. And I got some Christmas money. Woohoo! And I used it to get some new cards, which are really exciting. So I pulled a card. Don't ask me what I did with them. Here they are. I pulled a card earlier because I was like, man, I'm just feeling all of this. So this is the back of the cards, and these are the Wild Offering Oracle. They're really pretty. So I pulled the card called Impatience, and I'll read it to you because it's probably backwards on the screen. My life is unfolding in divine timing. All delays are beneficial. I'm always at the right place at the right time. And that is super, super important to me, because it's a philosophy that I've tried to adopt lately, because it's something that I struggle with so much. Impatience is one of my flaws. I have always been very impatient. I want to do stuff now. I want to get it done. I want to see the results. I don't want to mess around. I don't want to I don't know. I don't want to wait. Long-term stuff is tough for me. And it's weird. It's when it is a direct, what's the word? It's when it's like a indirect correlation with something that I've done. So it's with achievements. It's with things that I've put energy into for work. Not necessarily relationships or people, because I have a lot of patience in those areas. But it's really in my own ability, in learning new skills, in seeing results from things that I've put energy into, with work and that kind of thing. So yeah, the universe is sending me the message to chill out and just be patient. And my son is testing my patience lately, so I get the point. The universe can tell him to let up. So happy day 2, and I hope wherever you are that you're having a good day and that this speaks to you somehow. And I'd love to hear comments and questions and that kind of thing So if you want more videos, or if you want to be aware of more videos, I'm going to continue doing the video diary. Just subscribe to this channel and you will see all of the stuff that I put up. Bye guys.